everybody. Oh, man. Make this weekend. Oh, I'm sorry. So, it's just a measly 524 days till the 2024 election. The same amount of time it took Joe Biden to read Charlotte's Web as a freshman in college. So welcome back into the spotlight, Iowa, the birthplace of vending machines, sliced bread, and heterosexuals. On Tuesday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis held his first campaign event in a tour that will also take him to New Hampshire and South Carolina. But I wonder if it was great to be back.
It is great to be back, and it's great for me to report that our great American comeback starts by sending Joe Biden back to his basement in Delaware.
Well, the rest of the speech hit the usual stuff, but the left's meltdown is already in mid-season form when it comes to Ron. Because there's a model for what this little dictator in the making wants to do.
There is a model for what this little dictator in the making wants to do. Just look at China, Cuba, North Korea, Afghanistan, or Iran, where the government censors the media or force feeds a strict conservative religious ideology to children in schools, deploys morality police to make sure you're wearing what they want, learning what they want, doing what they want.
Yeah. You got to hand it to her. She's just one woman, but possesses the stupidity of five. She's like the View rolled into one super burrito of lunacy. So here's a quick fact check. Religion is not encouraged in China. The Cultural Revolution was famous for destroying temples. And obviously, it's not Republicans pushing gender brainwash in schools that forces kids to address sexuality well before they know the timetables. Hardly, it's teachers/activists from Joy Reid's world who force feed kids the do's and don'ts of washing a dildo in the dishwasher.
Ew.
I know. Got to take out the batteries. So it makes you wonder if it's the hard work to sound so stupid. She must practice 6 hours a day because she's got it down pat. But you see the lockstep taking shape. DeSantis is public enemy number one, as is any Republican who might win an election. Meanwhile, the first official jabs between DeSantis and Trump have already begun. And Chris Christie is planning to hop into the race next week. Right after he gets a clean bill of health from his trainer at SeaWorld. Something about his blowhole being clogged with fluffernutter.
Not the
A fatphobe would say.
Disgusting, the things that they write. But, you know, some say he is presidential and that he's already the candidate most shaped like the Oval Office.
Another fatphobe would say.
Terrible people. But it may be an uphill battle for him and others since a recent poll finds nearly 2 out of 3 GOP voters think Trump would be the strongest candidate to beat Biden. But speaking of polls, Trump wasn't too happy with his former press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, on Tuesday. He accused her of inflating DeSantis' numbers during an appearance on something called the Jerry Waters Show. Writing, quote, Kayleigh Milquetoast McEnany just gave out the wrong poll numbers. I'm 34 points up on DeSanctimonious, not 25 up. While 25 is great, it's not 34. The rhinos and globalists can have her. Fox News should really only use real stars. I know, real stars. But I've been saying that for years, and they still won't hire Chuck Woolery. But, of course, that's Trump. You love it or hate it. It's his persuasive strategy. You can get angry about it, but I doubt Kayleigh is, so why should you? Trump runs on reciprocity. You say something good about him, he returns the favor. You don't, then he will return that too. It's fine, but there is one flaw. He gives no break for time served. She was his best press secretary, and those years spent on the front lines for him should count for something. But it's his most effective tool of persuasion, so he can't quit. The question is, can we, by just ignoring it? And I think so, because the Dems, they love it, because it keeps us busy beating up on each other. It's why I say Trump is a 2-hour drive to an hour at the beach. The road is bumpy and exhausting, especially when allies receive friendly fire. But remember, every Republican will have a rough ride, because no matter who that person is, there will be accusations of bigotry, sexism, homophobia. For the media, every Republican is just another apocalypse in khakis. So while Trump might be 2 hours to the beach, DeSantis might be 90 minutes. But what if the beach isn't as nice? Then I blame women. White women in particular.
About time.
Right, Sonny?
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect this patriarchy here because it's to their benefit. Yeah. They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing, how their husbands are voting.
Take that, people who say she's racist. You forget that she's also sexist. Maybe it hasn't occurred to her that people with similar opinions get married sometimes. But maybe she got that opinion about white ladies getting their opinions from their husbands from her husband, which is why she hasn't called him a bigot, right? The bottom line, she managed to take a general observation that spouses of any stripe stick together and make it only about whites. And why? Because what else does she have? Nothing. She's not funny or smart or interesting, but she's an expert in calling people racist, so congrats on that. And so as each new Republican enters the fray, the latest will be crowned, no doubt, worse than Hitler. Meanwhile, Joe retreats to his basement, living on bologna sandwiches, with the crust cut off, dusting off bowling trophies and sniffing Jill's old wigs. Sorry, Dr. Jill.
Thank you.
Right, Joe?
Yeah.
Like Ron, Don, I don't care. They're both MAGA. You know MAGA, it's a little place, population, no thank you. But I can take on both of these guys. I'll just do what I did last time. I go in the basement, and then I let other people figure it out with the votes and all that kind of thing. But then we can make America great again. No, wait a minute, that's their thing. That's MAGA. What do I do? I'm gonna do whatever I do. Dwid.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. She talks so fast her tongue has to wear a helmet. Host of the new Fox Nation series, Weapons of War. Emily Cabano. His IQ is over 120 and his SPF's over 250.
That's true.
Fox News' whitest contributor, Tom Shalhoub. You could use her left leg to pick a lock. Fox News contributor, Kat Tiff. And finally, when God said, "Let there be light," he asked him to step aside. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Karis. Tom, join me in some speculation here.
Yeah.
I think the Dems want to go up against Trump, and that's why they're laying off him.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I mean, obviously, the media, they're all against DeSantis, and they're starting to praise Trump. Lincoln Project was just praising Trump and attacking DeSantis. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Lincoln Project said he was more alpha. Or who's that jerk? Who's the,
Yeah, I know, Rick Wilson.
They do fear DeSantis. I do think they want to run against Trump, but I think there's another reason. DeSantis is the most popular governor in America, and he's quite MAGA. Trump changed the country, and they don't want to admit that he did. Mm-hmm. The left and the Lincoln Project, the old school Republicans, they don't want to admit that old Republican Party is gone.
Right.
The voters have moved beyond it. That's why they like DeSantis. He's about the most MAGA guy there is besides Trump. That's why those two guys are at the top of the game.
But even the never Trumpers who are pure hypocrites will not do DeSantis either, right?
Right. But you know why? I think because they fear him even more than Trump because he's the continuation of MAGA. We have to continue the MAGA movement in this country, and the voters know it. They're never going back to that old Republican. But they think if they can maybe run against Trump and defeat him again, then they can put the whole thing behind them. But DeSantis is the future, and everybody knows that.
Another great perspective from a white male. Emily, I get bothered when I see Trump bash people that have worked really hard for him. But then I think that that's just a part of his persuasive mechanism, which is if you do something nice, I give you a treat. If you don't, and it's like she didn't do anything really bad. What's your take on this?
Kayleigh deserves only and the utmost respect and kindness and generosity from her current colleagues and from any former colleagues and any former employees. I want to talk for a bit about Sunny Hostin, because her absolute ignorant dribble, the fact that it didn't spark any outrage to me is what's most appalling. Do you realize if anyone other than her, if anyone had bashed any other group other than white women, there would have been an uproar, an outrage we heard across the globe. Where are the feminists? Where are the feminists that are rising up and saying, oh, if you are not a married woman, then you do have value? She's essentially saying, in this cloak of I am committed to diversity, inclusion, and equity, that one particular group doesn't even hold any value and can't think for themselves. And to me, that just illustrates how that party, if you dare think for yourself, that's exactly why you're shunned. What would she say to Hillary Clinton? Right? Well, to anyone that
Please
is
don't
a
kill
Democrat, that anyone that's a Democrat that's married, that's white. And the fact that it was dead silence, that it was crickets from anyone on the misogyny, on the sexism, on the absolute hypocritical nature of everything out of her mouth, to me, that's the worst part. Because Casey DeSantis, remember, had an absolute hit piece out on her by Politico. They said, stay in your lane. Rumor has it that she's getting too involved in her husband's political affairs. So which is it? Is it stay in your lane, or is it think for yourself? They can't get it together.
It's hard with women drivers. You know what I'm saying? Sexist. Yeah, I tricked you. All right, Kat. Do you agree that that your husband Cameron has influenced your voting habits? Or
He's influenced some of my habits.
Yes.
Like, I don't eat food in bed anymore. Unless I put a towel down and ask permission. I've agreed to stop using his blow dryer as a personal heater because he has a nice one. It's Italian.
Yeah.
I have agreed to keep cutlery in the house.
Oh, that's good.
Well, rather than just using the plastic stuff that they get with your order.
Yeah.
In terms of voting, no, he hasn't. I still vote the same, and I don't think she even understood the point she was making. She's like, these women, they want their husbands to be happy, and they want their kids to be happy, and they want to be happy.
As opposed to black women.
Like, yeah, I think everybody wants that. But I just don't see, I would like her to explain to me how it is a, fight against the patriarchy to have voted for an old man who has been in our government 20% of the time we've been a country.
Yeah.
How is that forward-thinking and progressive? I would like to have that be explained to me rather than just how maybe the other people are bad. No, how is this person, how does that make you this forward-thinking, progressive person? Because for me, I don't want to live under a patriarchy. And for me, that starts with not, wanting to call the government daddy, like a lot of these big government jerks do.
There you go. That's so true.
Thank you.
Progressives actually are pro-patriarchy because they want a government that takes care of you like a big sugar daddy. All right, Tyrus, last word to you.
I just found, to hop on Kat's point, the idea that women listen to their husband is just shocking to me. I polled a group of husband buddy of mine, and I asked if any of you have seen this. I even went specifically to the white ones, and they said they had to check with their wives before they answered me. So. Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. I mean, that sounds awesome. Where's my food?
Yeah.
Vote for Trump. Where's my food? It doesn't happen, not in this day and age. Yeah. But you're right. She's a complete moron. You want your sons to do well. You want your kids to do well. You want your daughters to do well. You want everyone to do well because that's how racists roll.
Yes, exactly.
With Bayard going, yeah. Okay. No one watches The View. They just turn it on when they're trying to pretend to be sick from going to work.
Right, that's true.
Just put it on something else. Try static.
Yeah.
Or like the sounds of cows mating would probably be even better. Just because at least that what they're doing.
I read a study when they do these social house calls, like people go and check on people. What are they called? Social house checks. And they find dead people. They're always watching The View. Counts for at least half of their viewers are actually corpses.
true.
Yeah, I'll get you the citation for that.
Racist corpses.
Racist corpses. They used to be white.
But they want the corpses to do well. They want the corpses' families to do well. They want the skeletons in their closets to do well. So just go with Moo.
All right. Before we go, tickets are available for my upcoming book tour. That's exciting. I'll be in Atlanta, Clearwater, Fort Myers, Providence, and Reading, Pennsylvania. That's going to be fun. Go to ggutfeld.com for details. Up next, will California punish teens accused of beating Marines? Gave them the silent thank you. Somehow it feels better. Thank you. They attacked Marines with their feet and fists, but will they end up with a slap on the wrists? Yesterday, 9 teenage suspects were arrested in connection with the beatdown of 3 Marines on a California beach over the holiday weekend. Yeah, it turns out the teens had the night off from carjacking. No good punks. Evidently, things went south after the Marines say they asked the teens to stop lighting fireworks, which might be on them. I mean, who tries talking to some California teens? Even Al-Qaeda terrorists aren't that crazy. The teens then allegedly followed the Marines, verbally berated them, forcing them to the ground, where they kicked and punched and stomped them with the kind of anti-American fury you'd expect from The View. But there may be more to this story. According to the New York Post, new video shows the Marines at a crowded beach party before the assault. The servicemen were seen grappling with each other. I'll need to see that tape after the show. Grappling with each other in a play fight for the crowd. But it's not clear if the people they were hanging out with and drinking with were the same teens who later allegedly assaulted them. You follow? I don't. But at least we learned something, that kicking someone in the head with your feet counts as felony assault with a deadly weapon, which is the charge 4 males and 1 female are facing. And another 4 are facing charges of misdemeanor assault and battery. Since they're all minors, their identities, of course, are being withheld. And since it's California, the question to ask now is how long before all 9 suspects are back on their feet and pooping on the street? Tyrus, what's going on here?
Well, I find it's so funny and sad at the same time that the new footage, they were at a party and drinking and grappling with each other, Greg. You'll love the video. But it just reminds me of, it's literally like saying a woman was assaulted in a bar and the defense is like, well, she was dancing around and she made out with a guy earlier. Look at the way she was dressed. I don't care what they did, whether they were jerks or dumb or drunk. They were jumped and beaten by a mob.
Right.
Doesn't matter if they were polite. Doesn't matter what they were. Literally, they didn't attack 50 people.
Yeah.
But this is the spin. This is we wouldn't even be hearing this part of the story. It's so irrelevant. They're trying to take it so we're like the kids were triggered by the Marines' behavior. The toxic, misogynistic white men serving their country were at a party and they got jumped. Shame on them. They shouldn't have been dressed that way. They shouldn't have acted that way. They had their shirts off. So, of course, they wanted to get kicked. And they're barbarians. Why? Because they served their country. That's going to be the left spin on this. Has no difference. Makes no difference. They were assaulted and kicked in the head, and it shouldn't matter. But, unfortunately, this didn't happen in Louisiana or a place where we still have law and order. This happened in California. So it's going to be a trial of feelings opposed to facts. And it's just, and I'm proud of them. They wouldn't even get medical condition. They basically gave that whole mob the middle finger. Good for them.
All right. Well, Kat, do you agree, disagree, or wish to play dead?
I'm tired.
No, you can't be tired. Got to get through this week.
Yeah, I get it. Like, the beach is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Whenever you go there, like, it's a whole thing to get there, and then you're like, okay, what do I do at the beach? Especially because I'm Polish and on Accutane, so the sun is not my friend.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you should solve your boredom by assaulting people.
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
People don't say it enough.
Exactly.
Especially
Just because you're bored, don't beat up some...
Especially, you guys are teens. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, when I was a teen, I didn't care if I was at a dumpster alley. I was like, my parents aren't here. I can do whatever I want. Like, that's supposed to still be exciting to you at that age. You shouldn't have to be beating people up for kicks as a teen.
Speaking of kicks, Emily, you're a lawyer. And you were also a professional cheerleader.
Yes.
You got your kicks.
Yes.
With kicks.
Yes.
You now can be charged with attempted murder if you kick somebody in the head. I think that's really good. What say you?
I do. I agree. That, however, is only a good thing if there's a penalty associated with it, right? If there's teeth to that enforcement.
There's teeth to the kick.
Teeth to the kick. That's
Kick
right.
to the teeth.
And there, because they're juveniles, the reality is that they'll be let out. Let's say if they even do serve time, they'll be let out by the time they're 18. And likely their records will be sealed. The issue that I see here, first of all, I love that San Clemente came out and said, we celebrate Marines, we're grateful for them, and we will not tolerate this, that this is essentially an aberration. But I don't see it being an aberration across the country, because kids right now, not to sound 100, but it seems to me that they have had every type of emotional development stunted. They have no prefrontal cortex development anymore. They have no executive functioning skills. It's like just rotten mold in their heads. And that means that this violence means nothing to them. It means that they are numb to huge gang, meaning multiple people, violence, mob violence. All they do is do it for clicks and for, we heard about Las Vegas last week, a guy that filmed him raping an almost unconscious girl. They were teenagers, right? And then people post it to Facebook. So to me, the issue is that this is an epidemic of teenagers engaging in horrific violence on camera, for likes and dopamine hits. And at the end of the day, they're going to keep doing it. The 9 will get a slap on the wrist, fine.
Unless we drown them all.
That's right.
Into the sea.
Yes.
They're already there. I'm joking.
I'll push.
I just wanted to cut her off so I can get to Tom.
Sorry.
I'm joking, people.
Kick him.
Tom.
Kick him now.
You are obviously an expert MMA fighter.
Yes.
You retired with the record of 400-0.
Yeah.
When you were watching the video and you're watching these soldiers curled up in a fetal position, is that your way of dealing with a crowd? How would you deal with a mob of people? Would you go to find the strongest one or the weakest one and break one of their limbs?
Yeah, I'd sweep the leg, first of all.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
The leg.
Is over there.
Yeah, no mercy. That's
Yes.
what my karate teacher used to say. But no, my dad told me when I was a kid, stay away from teenagers.
Yes.
Teenager was synonymous with ruffian back then.
Yes. That's what teenagers' parents used to say to me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't like that they call these people teens, and they're always doing it. Every time there's fires breaking out.
It's always
in America,
teens.
It's always teens, and they're not teens.
No.
They are, we had a word for it, hooligans.
Yes. They're just young criminals.
Yes.
But we say a group of teens. A group of teens, you could argue, is more dangerous, I said this yesterday, than a group of adults.
Yes.
Yeah, because their prefrontal lobes are mush, as Emily says.
We should stop saying teen. There's no, like, an 11-year-old and a 19-year-old. They're both teens.
Yes.
But they're not similar.
Tell that
at
to
all.
the judge.
Yeah. And
Judge Janine in the green room.
Yeah.
And we have conversations.
Yeah.
About these things. All right, up next, nothing gets in the way of Gen Z and their duvet. Gen Z says life's complete if they spend it wrapped in dirty sheets. Yes, those bums don't dread spend it all day in bed. We're talking about those born after 1997 when Kat just turned 20. Well, they're taking time out of their busy, jam-packed, work-filled schedules to stay in bed all day long doing crap other than sleep or have sex. They got the idea from Brian Kilmeade's new book, My Sad, Empty Life.
Damn. Why?
I don't know why, but it's a trend called bed rotting. What do I feel like this is not real? And it's popular on TikTok, like everything awful. And it's also a big hit with DoorDash, Uber Eats, and of course, bed bugs. These young people look at bed rotting as necessary mental self-care, a logical next step from a generation that peaked with eating Tide Pods. They're recharging their minds by binge-watching movies and TV shows, stuffing their faces with sugary and fattening snacks, all in bed. Or as Brian Stelter calls it, business as usual. One TikToker even said, quote, I feel my purpose in this life is to rot in different places. My bed, hotel bed, beach sand, hammock. I was made to lay and rot. Back in my day, you couldn't simply decide to spend your whole life in bed. You had to earn that by getting polio. Still, bed rotting fanatics call it a hobby and a passion, which has us asking, is it too early to harvest their organs? Tyrus, do you think this is real? That quote was almost too on the nose, too perfect.
I feel like, the movie Princess Bride, I don't think they think rot means what they think it means.
Yeah.
It's not a good term. Like, no one ever wants to tell anyone they have something that's rotten.
Yeah.
Or rot, and someone be like, ooh, I want that. They don't. This is obviously the uncles came home, so people are sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Mom and dad are taking over the living room again. Good for mom and dad. They're countering, and they came back with, fine, I'll just rot in my bed. And they'll sit there and do what they're pretty much doing already, sitting on their phones, watching Netflix, and now they just get to lay down and do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they do. Whenever adversity hits, they just change the name. Instead of being a lazy ass or a couch potato, or in my house, leaving soon at the end of my foot, they're now bed rotting. And it's for my mental health, so you can't tell me that I'm lazy and not doing with my life.
I don't know. Tom, I feel like I did this for a while. It was called college.
Yeah.
One time I think I aimed to lie in bed for a whole week. Right? I did. I used to throw the dishes under the bed.
You had dishes in college.
Yes.
We didn't have any dishes, but
Yeah, dishes?
Yeah, well, they were plastic, but dishes nonetheless.
I'm against bed, Greg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I don't like spending any time in the bed. No TV in the bedroom. I don't want to be lingering in the bedroom. I just sleep.
Yes.
And I love sleeping, but I sleep, I get my 9 hours, and then I get out of there.
9 hours,
I like 9. I need 9.
That's a lot.
I need 9 hours.
And it's 9 from beginning to end, no interruptions.
No interruptions. In college, to be more productive, I got rid of my bed, so I didn't have a bed for 3 years.
What'd you sleep on?
Hammock.
Are you
I slept in a hammock.
Okay.
Where really?
Yeah.
I slept in a hammock.
They called me Cocoon Boy.
Oh.
They did. It was an excellent. Hammocks are a great way to sleep because you get in, you fall asleep, you wake up, you have to get out of it. I mean, you can't linger.
But then 2 people can't be in it.
Ah, come on. I was in college.
That means you were alone?
I'm
He was
Catholic,
there to
Greg.
study, Greg.
Greg.
He was there to study. He went to college to learn.
Yeah.
Not
Nobody
to mingle.
has sex in college.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Well,
ridiculous.
look, I know they do these days, but this was the 1980s. There was no sex in college.
There wasn't. No. Emily, what are your thoughts on A, not having sex in college, or B, this topic, which makes no sense?
I'll take B.
Okay.
I find all of them disgusting. It's like they're filming and celebrating getting bed sores. Everyone is lazy and filthy, and I'm sick of it. And also, given that all of us in New York are sort of like crammed together in subways and walking and everything, you can smell when someone spends too much time in bed.
Right.
You can smell it on their hair and on their clothes, and I just find this one more reason why this generation should be...
Say it.
You fill in the blank. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like they're lazy and weird. And to your point, they're just doing it again for the clicks and the dopamine. Like that point, I was made to rot in a hammock. Okay, honey, get a job.
Yeah, we already have one movement defending one of the original sins of gluttony, right? It's called body positive. Why don't we have energy positive people? Some people don't have the energy you do, so they have to some people need 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, really?
Like, have I ever spent an entire day in bed wasting away like Beth from Little Women? Yes.
Beth from Little Women.
I have, but also that's not bed rotting.
Thank
okay?
you.
Bed rotting is you're still in your clothes from last night. You smell horrible. You look like the mugshot of a woman who just drowned her children. And it happens, but what's not okay is to tell yourself that it's okay. Like,
Right.
You get up from whatever, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you're a piece of you need to do better than this. That's the only way it's going to be acceptable. Because when I look at times in my life when I was doing that more, I wouldn't say those were times things were going well. So it's normal, but it's not normal to accept the worst out of yourself because you're never going to get any better.
I was in a situation where I had a noticeable indentation in the mattress,
You're not big enough for that. I mean that sweetly.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I believe Emily on that one.
I try to share something about my past and laugh at me.
I don't think it would be a dent because how would you get out? You'd a little upside down.
All right, I get it. I'm a tiny man.
Like a baby in a crib.
All right, enough of this. Coming up, you'll love what's in store, including a baby monkey and booze galore. Yeah, it's local news. Each guest has to share a story from wherever they're from, and then I vote on the winner. And that person has to survive the night in Old Man Jenkins' house. I want that to keep going on forever and ever and ever. Emily, go first. I hope you have a good story.
Yes.
Please.
Everyone. In California, you think there, the police officers are very busy managing the skyrocketing crime, managing the skyrocketing homeless, managing the skyrocketing everything. But just past midnight in Burbank, California, which as we all know is very urban, a horse was running loose through the streets, and guess who lassoed him and rode him home was a police officer. That right there, you guys, is 1 a.m. in Burbank, California.
I used to live there.
With a police officer that wrangled that horse, whose name is Oreo, and brought her back, or him back, to its owner there in Burbank. I salute you, Officer Moreno. Totally amazing, which just goes to show you don't have to be in Texas to be a cowboy.
Nicely done. Yeah. I think we know who this stud is. Little horse joke there. Very little. Tom, I don't know what's going on in your head, but I hope it's something interesting.
Okay, happy hour has been illegal in Massachusetts since 1984, the year I graduated from high school. There's a new push to bring back happy hour in Massachusetts, and I say go for it. Senator Julian Sear has reintroduced a measure. He says Massachusetts has a fun problem, and it doesn't help that it's absurdly expensive to live there because they call it Taxachusetts. So I say go ahead, bring back happy hour.
Do you really think Boston needs more drunks?
Yes. And it's like you said, it's expensive to live in Boston.
I never said that.
Go down to the bar.
You said that.
I agree with you, Greg. It's expensive.
Don't put words in my mouth.
The bars close early there anyway.
That's true. It's no fun to go there. I mean, yeah, oh, wow, let's go to Boston. We have walking tours. But where do you walk to, really? Oh, here's an old cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh, this used to be a hotel. Shut up. Nothing happened there.
It's true.
Right?
Yes.
Nothing happened.
Oh, well, I mean, some things did happen.
Nothing happened. All right, I'm sorry. I know that upset some people.
It's all right, Chet.
Yes. I'm going to go to you, Kat. Kat, tell me something interesting about some state that you've been in.
I was just thinking about how my mom died in Boston. And now I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, in Detroit, the zoo, there's a new baby monkey chimpanzee. A chimpanzee, actually.
Is it a monkey or a
chimpanzee? This 31-year-old chimpanzee named Tanya is a mom for the first time, which is a big deal for her because probably all the other chimps were giving her about her scrambling eggs in her Instagram comments or whatever. So yay for her. And then I went into a huge rabbit hole about like the reproductive habits of chimps. And apparently most lady chimps don't go through menopause.
Really?
But they actually just die. But the ones that live longer, they stay fertile. And then also they can have a bunch of different baby daddies, and the boy chimps don't care if they're all banging the same girl chimp.
Wow. They have
So I could work at National Geographic.
Is that still around?
Yeah.
Remember that magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we not allowed to call chimps monkeys?
I don't know.
They're apes.
They're apes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Different phylum.
All right.
Typical white guy, right?
Yeah, there's that Boston education.
Yeah. All right, Tyrus. I know what you're going to do.
No, Chet, before I do, we actually have positive news, but I earlier today was taking the same story as Tom to stop it. Boston doesn't deserve a happy hour. Absolutely. Have you seen the Bruins and Celtics? What's to be happy about? Nothing. Red Sox? So no happy hour. It's canceled. Maybe next year. But now something positive. All right. So Gordon Wayne is a former homeless student who just graduated from Boston College. He got a full scholarship his sophomore year. I know, sounds normal, boring. Yeah. But he lived out of his car. He walked 500 plus miles from Virginia to attend Boston College. It took 16 days. Following graduation, he is raising awareness and has a GoFundMe set up for helping people out of homelessness. He's raised over $170,000 since 2020, which in Boston is wicked lot of money, and devoting his life after academics to help people in need. I was all with him except for that last sentence. Don't do it, bro. Do not do it. But Other than that, man, hats off to him.
There you go. Well, that's an uplifting story. I will, though. I feel like, Emily, you win because footage of a horse at 1 a.m. in Burbank's kind of awesome.
That's right.
Old man Jenkins' ears going to be busy that night.
Yes, exactly. Those ghosts are they're gonna be more frightened of you than you of them.
I thought if I won.
No, never mind.
Whatever.
You get to spend the night with old man Jenkins in his creepy old house.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll talk to me.
Remember the kicks.
All right, we should move on, right? Yeah, Greg. Okay, up next, Swifties are fretting over the memories they're forgetting. Taylor Swift causes temporary amnesia. Kat, multiple fans say they're experiencing temporary amnesia after seeing Taylor Swift in concert. Psychologists say it can happen anytime you're in a highly emotional state. Has this happened to you? Do you buy this?
I buy it.
Really? Why?
Because when I go to a concert, I turn into a feral animal. I can jump up and down for like 3 hours straight.
Yeah. Do you think that's what happened here?
No, because what about that would make you want to jump up and down. I mean, everybody, everyone's a huge fan. I just never became a big fan, and also I don't really, so I've never jumped up and down to that. But yeah, I believe it. I was overwhelmed with emotion when I saw Blink-182. I cried, I jumped around for hours, and I've never been that happy again. I know, but if you asked me to remember what the set list was, I couldn't. All
right, fair enough. My theory, Tom, is that they don't remember it because they were too busy taking pictures.
Boom.
I do believe this, Greg.
Really?
Yes, because when it's a highly charged night, think of the nights of your life, Greg. You have flashes. Well, when you think of these special nights, though, you have flashes of it. You can remember little bits of it.
Yeah.
But they go home and they are confronted with this long set list, and they only remember little splashes of the evening, and it bothers them. I think. I hang out with Taylor Swift. I'm in her squad.
Are you?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, I'm the only guy in her squad. We have a great time.
This makes me think I'm not going to pursue that. But it does make me think, Tyra, this would be a great place to rob people. Because they
What are you going to steal them? Their cell phones?
Cell phones, their wallets,
cards?
their purses, everything they have. And then they can't tell you because they won't remember.
Listen, if someone can tell me there's a way to induce amnesia, I'm all for it. Okay? Because punching myself in the face till I fall asleep isn't really working right now. So if I got to go stand in a concert for 5 minutes to forget something, I'm all for it. I just don't believe it. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Just smoke a ton of weed and drink Old English, and I should do the trick.
Yes. Don't spend thousands of dollars on a ticket, Emily. You can just get a bottle of Old English or a can, actually.
Drink it fast and start bed rotting immediately.
Bed rotting. As a lawyer, could they sue Taylor Swift for damaging their memory?
They can try. Probably won't be successful.
What about a class action suit?
Keep trying. Keep trying. It's likely not going to be successful. Do you guys remember when we went to Guar?
Yes.
That was awesome. We hopped around. I will say this. When your brain is the size of a walnut, then you will likely not remember something that is the pinnacle of your emotional roller coaster life when you're 12 years old. Most of us can remember even highly emotional incidences unless they're traumatic, in which case I understand blacking out for a second. But I loved the quotes where they were like, however, my bank account proved it was real because the $1,000 for the ticket or the t-shirt or whatever it is proved I was there. Yes, really expensive, probably not worth it. Good luck remembering, but you always have the internet. That will remind you.
Yeah, somebody's angry.
Ugh, but I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're just a very bitter person. Kidding. I'm kidding. Of course he isn't. Maybe a little bitter, but not a lot. I mean, Tom's
lemon bitter.
What?
Like lemon bitter.
Lemon bitter.
Yeah, just in the
like Schweppes bitter lemon. All right, we got to go. We'll be right back. Out of time. Tom Shalhoub, Emily, Kat, Tyrus, our studio audience, Fox News and Not Trina, Trace, Cal, Cat, Good Nick. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I love you, America.
Visit our podcast on Rumble to learn what's really going on in Biden's China, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.